Hi there, you watching Malika Astrology, and this is your Vedic Astrology forecast for June for the sign of Taurus. Before we dive in, one important note. This channel is dedicated to Vedic astrology, also known as Jyotish. This is not the same as the Western horoscopes most people are familiar with. In the Vedic system, the signs are calculated differently, so your Vedic sign may not be the one you think you know. Check out the first video on this channel. I explain the difference there in detail. And one more thing, the forecasts here are based on your rising sign, your ascendant, not your sun sign. If you don't know your Vedic ascendant, simply send me your date of birth, your exact time of birth, and your place of birth, and I'll help you find it. All my contact details are in the description below. All right, let's talk about June, because this month has a lot going on for Taurus. What is this month really about? If you're a Taurus and you think June is going to be a quiet, ordinary month, get ready for a pleasant surprise. This is genuinely one of the most eventful and meaningful months of the year for you. And it's not about chaos or upheaval. It's about the fact that several major planetary events are happening right in your sign or in the houses that directly govern your identity, your money, your career, and your relationships. The central theme of June, you yourself, your energy, your presence, your resources, and how you're building your life from the inside out. The month opens with a powerful personal emphasis and then gradually shifts toward communication, knowledge, and inner growth. The first half is active, personal, with a certain background tension running underneath. The second half is warmer, richer, with a genuine blossoming through words and connection. Let's go through it properly. First half of June, June 1st through 14th. Let's start with what I think is the most significant thing happening for Taurus at the very beginning of the month. Sun in the first house. The sun is sitting directly in your sign, which means directly in your first house. For Taurus, this is a special time that comes around once a year, and it's worth using consciously. What is the first house? It's you, your personality, your body, your appearance, your energy, the way others perceive you when you walk into a room. It's your vitality, your character, the first impression you make. And the sun? The sun is the source of life, willpower, confidence, the desire to show up and be seen, to act and be recognized. Wherever the sun stands, that's where the light goes. So when the sun is in your first house, you literally shine. Your energy comes back, your confidence grows, your desire to act intensifies. People notice you more than usual, and this is your time to be visible and to use that visibility intentionally. Through June 15th, this is an excellent window for personal initiatives, important meetings where you need to make an impression, public appearances, and anything that calls for your personal presence and power. And alongside the sun, pay attention to what's happening in your financial zone, because there's something interesting going on there too. Mercury in the second house, May 29th through June 22nd. In Gemini, Mercury is in Gemini, its own sign, where it feels completely at home. The mind is sharp, speech is fast, information flows easily. But for Taurus, Gemini is your second house, the house of money, resources, values, and everything you consider yours. What does this look like in practice? Your mind is actively occupied with financial questions. Lots of thoughts, calculations, and ideas about how to earn, how to work with your resources, how to improve your material situation. Negotiations about money go particularly well right now. The right words come naturally, and your arguments land with conviction. This is a good time for discussing contract terms, having the conversation about a raise, financial negotiations of any kind, budget planning, and looking for new income streams. Mercury in the second house quite literally helps you think and talk about money more skillfully than usual. Use that. And Venus is there too, at least for the first part of the month. Venus in the second house through June 8th in Gemini. Venus is the ruling planet of Taurus. This is your planet, your home base. And at the start of June, it's sitting in your second house, the house of money, possessions, and values. This is a very pleasant configuration. Money may come a little more easily than usual. There may be enjoyable purchases. A desire to surround yourself with beautiful things is very natural right now. Venus loves pleasure, but that's also where the small risk lies. It's easy to spend more than you planned. Overall, though, the financial sphere is under a soft and favorable light. Through June 8th, a good moment for income negotiations, meaningful purchases, and anything connected to your resources and what you value. And in the very first hours of June, one last touch of Jupiter in the second house. Jupiter in the second house. Through June 1st, in Gemini, Jupiter is still sitting in your second house at the very start of June. Jupiter is the planet of growth, abundance, and expansion. In the house of money, it acts like an amplifier for financial potential. The very first days of June, literally up until the 1st, carry the final wave of Jupiter's support in your financial zone. After that, Jupiter moves on. And what comes next is actually even more interesting. More on that in just a moment. Now here's something I want you to pay particular attention to, because this one requires awareness. Mars in the 12th house, May 11th through June 20th. In Aries, Mars is in Aries, and for Taurus, Aries is your 12th house. This is a configuration worth knowing about. What is the 12th house? It's the house of completions, solitude, hidden processes, expenditures, sleep, the subconscious, everything that happens behind the scenes. It's the place where energy doesn't flow outward openly, but instead turns inward or quietly drains away. Mars in the 12th house means hidden tension, an inner restlessness, energy that's searching for an outlet but can't find a direct channel. There may be difficulty sleeping, a low-level anxiety that's hard to explain, a feeling that something is blocking your forward movement, but you can't quite put your finger on what. And then there's the financial side. The 12th house governs expenditures, and Mars here can bring unexpected or elevated spending. Here's what's important to understand. This is not a catastrophe. It's background noise. You just need to be more attentive to where your energy and money are quietly leaking in the first half of June. Physical activity, solitary walks, sport, these are genuinely good ways to discharge this tension constructively. And throughout the whole month, a few longer transits are running in the background and setting the overall tone. Rahu in the 10th house. All month, in Aquarius, Rahu is sitting in your 10th house, the house of career, reputation, social status, and public visibility. This is a powerful, long-term transit. Rahu in the 10th house is a strong engine for career ambition. The desire to achieve, to be seen, to rise, to be recognized, all of that is amplified. Unexpected career opportunities may appear, unconventional paths to success, a chance to reach a new audience or step into greater visibility. But Rahu always brings fog. In the career sphere, situations may arise that look better than they actually are. It's important not to chase status for the sake of status, and not to say yes to offers that sound impressive but don't actually align with what you truly value. Ketu in the 4th house, all month in Leo. Ketu is in your 4th house, the house of home, family, mother, and your inner emotional foundation. Ketu in the 4th house can create a sense of inner detachment, as though home and family are present, but something in that sphere feels incomplete or not as warm as it used to be. This isn't a bad thing. It's an invitation to look more honestly at what you call your foundation. What does home truly mean to you? What actually gives you genuine inner peace? Saturn in the 11th house, all month in Pisces. Saturn is in your 11th house, the house of income, big goals, friends, communities, and the fulfillment of desires. Saturn in the 11th house means slow, serious, but solid growth. Not quick results, but building something that lasts. Income can grow, but through discipline and patience. Your social circle becomes more selective. Unnecessary people gradually fall away, and only those who truly matter remain. Big goals require a systematic approach, not bursts of inspiration, but consistent, steady steps. This is a long transit. Saturn is here until 2027. It's teaching Taurus to build the future slowly, but in a way that holds for a very long time. And now, this is the moment I wanted to get to, the main event of June. The main event of June, Jupiter enters Cancer. June 1st, Jupiter moves into the 3rd house, into Cancer. On June 1st, Jupiter leaves your 2nd house and moves into your 3rd, and this shift changes the entire tone of the month. Let me explain why this matters so much. Jupiter is the most benefic planet in Vedic astrology, the great teacher, the great expander, the planet of grace and abundance. And Cancer is the sign where Jupiter is exalted, meaning it operates at its absolute maximum power. Think of a musician stepping onto the stage they were born to perform on. That's what Jupiter in Cancer looks like. And this Jupiter, at its most powerful, arrives in your 3rd house. Let me tell you what that house actually means, because it's often underestimated. The 3rd house is your voice and your words. It's your personal courage and initiative. It's communication and negotiation, learning and new skills, writing, content, and ideas, short journeys, and the people closest to you, your siblings, your immediate circle. When Jupiter in exaltation arrives here, this is powerful, expansive support for everything connected to your mind, your voice, and your personal effort. What can it bring? Growth through learning, courses, knowledge, skills that open doors you didn't even know existed. Success through communication. Negotiations go better. Your words land exactly where they need to. A creative and intellectual rise. Ideas come easily. There's a genuine desire to create, write, speak, and share. Journeys that genuinely expand your horizons. And for those whose work involves content, teaching, or communication, this is a period of real, visible growth. Jupiter will be in Cancer until the end of October 2026. For Taurus, this is one of the finest periods in years for growing through knowledge and the power of your own voice. Remember this transit. 2nd half of June, from June 15th. And now we move into the 2nd half, and the energy begins to shift. Sun moves into the 2nd house, from June 15th, in Gemini. On June 15th, the Sun leaves your 1st house and moves into your 2nd, the house of money, resources, and values. The personal spotlight softens a little, but the financial sphere gets a new wave of light and attention. The Sun in the 2nd house brings focus to what you have and what you want to grow. It's a good time for financial decisions, conversations about increasing your income, and an honest assessment of your resources. And there's something else. The Sun in the 2nd also illuminates the themes of speech and family. Meaningful, important conversations with those close to you are quite possible now. And on June 8th, something very beautiful happens in your 3rd house. Venus moves into the 3rd house. From June 8th, in Cancer, Venus, the ruler of Taurus, moves into your 3rd house and meets Jupiter there. Picture that for a moment. Jupiter, at its most powerful, is already filling your zone of communication and ideas with expansive energy. And then Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and charm, walks in and joins it. What does this bring? Beauty in communication. Conversations become more pleasant. The right words come easily and naturally, Creative inspiration flowing through ideas and connection, charm in negotiations. People genuinely want to listen to you. Warmth in relationships with your close circle. And especially for those who work with people, create content, teach, or promote themselves through words. This is a period of real blossoming. And then June 20th brings something you will absolutely feel. Mars moves into the first house. From June 20th in Taurus. After June 20th, Mars arrives directly in your sign, in your first house, and everything changes. If the first half of the month was quieter in terms of personal energy, after the 20th, that energy returns with full force. Mars in the first house in Taurus means a surge of willpower, a desire to act, physical strength, and confidence. You start to feel like you want to move, achieve, and launch things. This is an excellent time for starting new initiatives and for anything that requires drive and determination. But here's one important nuance I want you to hold on to. Mars in Taurus is stubbornness squared. Taurus is naturally persistent, and with Mars amplifying that quality, it can become very intense. The key is learning to tell the difference between healthy persistence and simply not being willing to hear another point of view. That's a subtle but important line. Health in June. A few things genuinely worth paying attention to this month. Sleep and hidden tension. Mars in the 12th house through the first half of June is a common source of insomnia and a low-level anxiety that people often don't even notice in themselves. Pay attention to the quality of your sleep and don't let inattention accumulate. Find healthy outlets for it. The throat and neck. Taurus is physically connected to this area of the body. The Sun and Mercury in the first house early in the month bring a lot of activity through speech. The demand on your voice can be high. Take care of your throat, especially if you're speaking or presenting a lot. The energy shift. After June 20th, Mars enters the first house and the available energy increases significantly. Try not to immediately compensate for accumulated tiredness by throwing yourself into intense activity all at once. Gradual and steady is the right approach here. The nervous system. Rahu in the 10th house creates a background pressure around career and ambition. If you're too consumed by work and goals, your body will eventually ask for a pause. Give it that pause before it has to ask loudly. Money in June. The financial picture for Taurus in June is uneven, but with genuinely good overall potential. In the very first days of the month, Jupiter is still in the second house and offers one last wave of support in the money zone. Use those early days for important financial decisions. Venus in the second house through June 8th adds ease around purchases, but also the temptation to overspend. Stay conscious. The main caution of the first half is Mars in the 12th house, which can bring unexpected expenses or a quiet, invisible drain on your finances. After June 15th, the Sun arrives in the second house, and the financial theme gets fresh attention and light. A good moment for reviewing your budget and planning your income going forward. Career in June. June is a month when Taurus's career ambitions are running at full power. Rahu in the 10th house holds you in the field of professional growth all month long. Unexpected offers may appear, new contacts, opportunities to reach a wider audience or step into greater visibility. From June 1st, Jupiter in the 3rd house begins to support growth through words, learning, and communication. If your career involves connection, content, teaching, or negotiation, June could be genuinely pivotal. The Sun and Mercury in the 1st house early in the month give you personal visibility. People notice you. Your voice carries weight. Use that window to put yourself and your ideas forward. Love and relationships in June. Ketu in the fourth house continues to create a certain inner detachment in the home and family sphere. Relationships may be going through a period of quiet reassessment, where what matters more is an honest inner conversation with yourself about what you truly want from closeness, rather than external activity. But from June 8th, Venus moves into the third house and meets Jupiter there, and that changes the picture. Romance begins to express itself through words, meaningful conversations, important things finally said out loud, shared plans, common interests, and ideas. For those in relationships, this is a time when a couple can grow closer through real conversation, shared learning, or a journey together. For those who are looking, a connection is most likely through study, your immediate circle, or a short trip somewhere. The month in summary. June for Taurus is a month where you first shine as yourself and then begin to grow through your voice. The first half is personal, bright, and focused on identity, finances, and resources. The Sun and Mercury in the first house make you visible and compelling. Venus in the second adds warmth to the financial sphere. But Mars in the 12th asks for awareness of the hidden expenses and the quiet background tension that's easy to miss. The second half is a blossoming through communication. Jupiter in exaltation in the third house is a rare and genuinely valuable transit that opens a path of growth for Taurus through knowledge, words, and personal initiative. Venus joins in, amplifying charm, creativity, and warmth in connection. And Mars arrives in the first house, so by the end of the month, your personal energy is fully back and running strong. Your opportunities in June: personal visibility and promotion in the first half, meaningful financial decisions and important purchases, growth through learning and communication, a career leap through unexpected opportunities, and the launch of new initiatives after June 20th. Where to be more careful: unexpected expenses and quiet energy leaks in the first half. Career offers that sound impressive but lack real substance. Stubbornness and resistance to other perspectives after the 20th. And overload from too much communication and information coming at once. The main message of June. June gives Taurus two very different but equally important things. First, a reminder of who you are, your strength, your magnetism, your resources, and what you're genuinely capable of. And then, an invitation to grow through something you may have slightly forgotten. Through your voice, through knowledge, through the courage to speak and to share. Jupiter in exaltation in the third house is a sign that right now your voice has the power to open doors that once seemed firmly closed. This has been the general transit forecast for Taurus in Vedic astrology. It describes the tendencies for everyone with this ascendant, but your personal story is always richer and more specific than any general forecast can capture. Your natal chart holds something this forecast simply cannot give you. Which themes will be most significant for you personally? How strongly these transits will actually show up in your life? And which moments this month could be genuinely pivotal for you and no one else? That's what a personal reading is for. If you'd like to explore your natal chart, reach out to me. All you need is your date of birth, your exact time of birth, and your place of birth. You'll find all my contact details below this video. And if you're interested, you can also order a full year-ahead forecast. Until the next forecast, and may June bring you exactly what you need.